I think I copied my style from Louis Armstrong because I always liked the big volume and the big sound that Bessie Smith got when she sang. But when I was quite young, I heard a record Louis Armstrong made called the West End Blues. And he doesn't say any words, you know. And I thought, this is wonderful, you know. And I liked the feeling he got from it. So I wanted Louis Armstrong's feeling, and I wanted the big volume that Bessie Smith got, but I found that it didn't work with me because I didn't have a big voice, you know. So anyway, between the two of them, I sort of got Billie Holiday.
What other musicians have had some sort of influence upon the development of your singing style?
Well, I like Lester Young. I always liked, Lester came much later in my life, but I liked Lester's feeling. You know, everyone, when he first started, thought this man, his tone is too thin, you know, or tenor sax, you know. Everybody thinks it has to be real big, and Lester used to go out of his mind getting reeds, you know, to sound big like Shoeberry, and he was very popular in those days. And I told him it doesn't matter because I said, you have a beautiful tone. I said, and you watch it. After a while, everybody's going to be copying you. And it came to be, you know. And then, I made my first record with Benny. And Benny came to a little club in Harlem to hear me. The Little Cabin. At that time, he was not Benny Goodman. He was just another musician. He worked in a studio band and down NBC. And he came up one night and he just thought I was wonderful. So he had a recording date under his own name, John Hammond. You must have heard of him. He's a music critic. And they thought I was it for the vocalist. And the funniest thing, I got there and I was afraid to sing in the mic because I'd never saw a microphone before. And I said, why do I have to sing in that thing? Why can't I just sing like I do at the club? I was scared to death of it. And Buck and Bubbles, Buck played the piano on that day. Can you imagine all those studio men and Buck, he can't read a note. He played the piano. Well, that's the way Benny is. He likes music. You don't have to read or write or anything. Just play it, you know. So Buck says, you're not going to let these people think you're a square, are you? He says, come on, sing it. And I sang. Your mother's son-in-law, and on the other side was Griffin Scotch.
So you were 15 years old then, weren't you?
No, I was 14.
I beg your pardon. Well, which of your records, Billie, give you more pleasure today? Or perhaps I should rephrase that. What different kinds of pleasure do you get from the earlier recordings and from the more recent records that you've made?
Well, I get a big bang out of your mother's son-in-law. It sounds like I'm doing comedy. My voice sounds so funny and high on there. And I sound like I'm about 3 years old to me. I don't know. And, but the things that I don't like any of my records, to be truthful with you, because it's always something that you should have done, or you should have waited here, or you should have held that note longer, or you should have phrased, or you know how it is. So you're never really satisfied with your records. But the things that I like most, I think the things I've done with string, or the ones, the real blues ones, you know, like Summertime, you know, the ones with no music at all, you know, where we just relaxed. Like the things we did with Teddy Wilson and Benny and Roy Eldridge. And we had, I was with Tom Bass's band at the time, and we had been on the road about 3 months doing one-nighters, you know, and that's pretty rough. And we had no time to rehearse anything, and we walked right in the studio, no music, and we made 6 great sides, you know. Those are the kind I like.
Billie, you've recorded so many songs. Which of the songs that you have recorded did you compose yourself?
Oh, I did Billie's Blues, Fine and Mellow, and, let me tell you how I did Fine and Mellow. I was working the Cafe Society downtown in the village, and we get up there to make these records, and all of a sudden we need one more side. So I said, I know, let's do a blues and let's make the introduction like an organ growler, you know, da 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 da, you know. And like that, I made it all up right in the studio. And I did Don't Explain. And what else? A few more I can't think of. But Don't Explain. I did that with a fellow named Razoff, and he helped me with the lyrics. But gee, I'm very proud of that because I think it's a pretty tune. Oh, and I did God Bless the Child. Don't let me forget that one because I wrote that for my mother. And how it came about, I asked Mother for some money, and she flatly refused me. So I said, that's all right. God bless the child, got his own. I walked out, you know, and then it started stuck in my mind. And my piano player and I were fooling around the next day. I said, you know, that's a good title for a song. I said, well, maybe we'll have to make it kind of religious. So he says, no. So I write out the words, and we get to know it, we wrote the song. So I carried it to Marx, the publishing. He thought it was wonderful, and right away he published it. So that's how we got God Bless the Child.
Are these your favorite records of those you've made, Billie?
No. No. The things, like I told you, the things that I made that I liked never got popular, like Deep Song. You probably never heard it. It's Decker. It never got popular. You're My Thrill. I think it's got a beautiful background, the strings and the oboe, and it never got popular. Like Benny Goodman always says, like this Summer of the Spring I did. The song, Nothing Ever Happens to It, is the most beautiful thing I ever heard in my life. Teddy Wilson, Irene Wilson's wife, wrote it. And she got inspired when the night we were all playing up there, Benny Webster and Benny Carter, myself, and John Kirby, the bass player. We were at her apartment having a jam session there, and she had made some red beans and rice that night. And we were just sitting around playing, and she got inspired and wrote the tune. But like Benny says, nothing's gonna happen with the tune. It's too beautiful. And he just didn't make sense to us, you know, but he was right. He says maybe in years to come. Now, for instance, like Yesterday's, that's a tune that I recorded, and I loved it. But Benny was right because, what was the show, Roberta? It came from Roberta, I think. Well, anyway, Only Have Eyes for You, that was popular. All the other tunes. Yesterday is the most beautiful song in the show. It's just starting to get popular now. So maybe Benny was right.
What other songs that you haven't recorded would you like to record someday, Billie?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you a song I'd like to sing, and it doesn't have any lyrics to it, I don't think, and that's Al Walls. David Rose, da 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 da. You know, things like that. Something nobody else does.
Well, let's get away from the musical end of Billie Holiday for just a second and ask how the name Lady Day came about.
Well, now, that came about when Lester and I were Count Basie's band, and Lester named me Lady Day, and he named my mother the Duchess, and there was Count Basie, so we were the royal family.
I see. Well, then how did the gardenia in the Billie Holiday hairdo become Billie's trademark?
Well, I've always loved gardenias, and one night I got very, very, how would you say it, when an artist gets, I don't know, it's a word for it. Anyway, I just wouldn't go on. I couldn't go on. I couldn't sing without my gardenia. So it became a trademark, and I just thought I couldn't sing if I didn't have a gardenia in my hair. And it had to be fresh.
You're no longer wearing the gardenia these days, though.
Well, no, I got over that. It was just a childish thing.
Lady Day, Billie Holiday, our in-person guest today on the Voice of America Jazz Hour. Thank you very much, Billie.
Thank you, Rose, for having me here.